Now, do you have sex on the first date? That's full on, isn't it? So no judgment on that. But the reason I ask is one of my mentors, Tina Harris, who you may know if you're in Australia from Lala's Big Live band, she said that to me once on a call, on a coaching call, and I guess it was in relation to something I was trying to achieve with, I don't know if it was clients or people to collaborate with, but certainly that message stuck in my head. And so I just want to talk about that in relation to priming your audience, your potential clients and your supporters and your followers to be part or to buy in, I guess, on what you do. Your audience is part of your business. You are co-creating together. So I want to riff on that and talk about what I have learnt throughout my own life, and also to follow on from the previous episode where I read Gary Vee's book called Crush It. There's observations I make with him as well as Taylor Swift. So yeah, just going to riff on all things building community, because that is the key to success.
Hello, I'm Olivia D'Souza. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I'm a content and podcast expert. I support visionary entrepreneurs and leaders passionate about living with purpose. Join me as we explore podcasting, life, business, and authenticity. Subscribe for meaningful conversations with a business buddy who gets what it's like. Welcome to Magnetic Pod.
I'm stepping in the next little me. I'm here to be. Yes, so when I was jotting down what I wanted to talk about in this episode, I was talking about how I was thinking about my experience as a singer entertainer with an audience, and how that gives me a particular insight also when I watch other performers that I watch with a different lens to perhaps people who don't entertain, and I make those observations about how an audience has to be primed. It doesn't just happen. They are part of the show. And it's like you say that with Taylor Swift. At the moment, is Taylor Swift still in Australia? She has been recently in here and in Australia, and she's been doing shows to stadiums nearly 100,000. There was 96,000 3 nights in a row in Melbourne. And people went away going, wow, she's amazing. And she totally is. We can learn so much from her and just admire her and be in admiration. But the audience is part of the show and part of what creates that atmosphere and energy that she feeds off. So I want to take you back to, and this is going to go somewhere, so stay with me. I am going to link it back to business. Not that, this is for anyone, but you could probably apply it anywhere. I find that if you learn things in life, in one area of your life, they end up being life lessons that you can apply in all the other areas. So what I've learned in singing, and I would take the example of when I used to sing in Brighton in a place called Railway Cafe, and I was there every week. I was every weekend, and it became 2 nights. I think it was Friday and Saturday at some stage. And this was the pattern. I would sing and in the beginning of the evening when I started singing, people were not generally necessarily taking that much notice of me in those early times, because I came to know and understand, and you got to put your ego aside. It is just understanding and reading where people are at. So in those beginning stages, people weren't there. Their priority is not me. Okay, they don't know me. Some of them did get to know me, but a lot of the time there'd be new people coming, and they're coming to celebrate a birthday or whatever it is, and they are there to meet each other. So that's their priority. They go in there and they are there to talk. They're not there to shut up and listen to you. They are there to talk at that stage. And so the beginning of the night was generally quite noisy in terms of me being able to sing out of to sing. And it's not like people are going to be quiet, let's listen to Olivia. No, at that stage, people are talking to each other. And yeah, they need to catch up with their friends. They'd be kind of rude at that stage to be hushing each other that early at the night. And not acknowledging the people they've just arrived to see. So they'd be talking with each other and, excited to see each other and catching up. And so I would just sing kind of background music, and that's fine. And then the food comes out, so they have their hunger satisfied, they're drinking, so they get relaxed, especially if they're having alcohol and those sort of things. And then you'd be able to read the room and to empathise with where they're at and nurture and guide the crowd into a particular direction. So they became receptive, and you could chat with them and have some banter and get to the point where they were ready to dance, and that they were there to have fun. So I'd do dance music, get them up, and I'd have to, I'd be doing 200% energy. I was fitter than I am now. Now I'm getting back into fitness, and I've been doing it for a few months, but I'm still not where I was there. I was so fit, and it was so useful for entertaining, because I would be full on dancing and like 200, 500% if there's such a thing, and just to be able to inspire them to have that energy and get them on the dance floor and have that part of the night happen. And then there comes the time when there was like the wind down and things are quietening off. Some people may have said goodbye or whatever. The place is getting ready to close down for the night. Things are calming down, and it became a more intimate part of the evening. And then would have the opportunity to play some songs that start to wind it down. And then when they're kind of feeling like they've built a relationship with me and establish that we're having a connection and we're having an experience, then they would be receptive to some different music. And I could sometimes throw something out of left field that it's a bit, I consider it indulgent. Those showstopper beautiful songs that I sing that I would love to sing, but sometimes people just want to have fun and they don't want to listen to you, sing a show-stopping rendition of some thing in a particular, like I might sing Ave Maria or something like that, or some operatic thing that would have been weird to sing earlier, but at that stage they're receptive for it. Or I remember it was one time I sang O gente da minha terra, people of my land, that means, and that's a Portuguese fado song made famous by Marisa. So she's a beautiful, amazing singer. So you go look her up. But the thing is, if you don't speak Portuguese, a lot of non-English, non-Portuguese speaking people really love her. But I love understanding what it's about and then connecting to the story of the song. But anyway, I digress. I sang that song, and I remember this one time, it's a bit of a showstopper song, and this guy was like, oh my God, that is amazing. You should have sung that at the beginning. Oh my God, that was amazing. You would have had people eating out of the palm of your hand if you sang that song at the beginning. The thing is, I did sing that song at the beginning. I had sang that song at the beginning and nobody noticed, and everybody talked through it, and it didn't have the same impact. The audience is part of the show. So, yeah, because I was able to, and that's what I learnt too in the beginning. I could sing things, but I sang them and just indulged myself and didn't worry if anyone was paying attention. I just went into my own zone. And then when I did the same thing at the end, they were in the palm of my hand and they were taken on a journey and they felt something, and they might have even got, teary. And what I'm saying, so my point with all of this is, you don't necessarily have sex on the first date, right? And obviously I don't mean actual sex. I'm not, but it's an analogy. You might, if you're talking about relationships, you have a chat. You might go and meet somewhere for coffee. You might talk, you have a conversation. You might have a bit of back and forth. I'm not up with that. I'm not dating these days. It's a lot of sexting and eggplant emojis and stuff. But anyway, I digress. But what I mean is, ideally, you build and you build the trust, you build a relationship. And, I see that too when I watch these Australian Idol shows or X Factor or whatever. These showstopper things usually have a backstory first, get you primed, get you connected to the person, hear their journey of what they've been through, what they've overcome, and what the meaning of the song, what it means to them, and why it's important. And then and only once you've been primed and heard all that and they're ready and are sitting and are waiting, then they can really impress you and you pay attention. That's that story of like the violinist who, have you heard that story about the violinist who, he's like a world-class amazing violinist who gets paid $1 squillion and fills arenas or whatever, concert halls, and people pay big bucks to hear him, and that same person at a train station was ignored by almost everybody. So my point with this is your ability to deliver and be the best you can be, or to have the best business, or to have the best anything, a lot of the time it will be dependent on other people, and that you need to take them on a journey and you need to prime them. So that's kind of the parallel I'm drawing with that. So that kind of links to community. It's I find a connection. That's part of priming in a particular setting, but more longer term, there's community building. So how can you build community? Well, I'm going to give you a few examples of building and priming your people from things that, for example, Gary Vee, like in the previous episode, I talked about the Crush It book, and he talked about how he would build relationships by, he gives out his personal email address a lot in the book Crush It, and he replies to each individual email. Like, that was in 2009. I doubt that he does it now. I'm tempted to test him on that, but I very much doubt he has the capacity to do it now. But that mindset of having a relationship with each person and giving them individual attention and having a conversation one at a time and giving them something memorable to remember. People will go, oh my God, Gary Vee replied to me, and Taylor Swift does the same thing. Like, people have stories of, oh, she was so amazing and she was so nice and she stayed there and signed everything to the very last person for hours, because she knows that her success cannot be possible without fans. She can't have the business and the life and everything she has without the people. So, and one person at a time, each person matters, and each person has a social media platform and friends and stuff, and each person that she takes a photo with will share it and be her marketer. So I think I said this in the last episode, that Gary Vee, in his early episodes, he used to have a chalkboard behind him where he would have, in his video content, inside jokes that his followers that he'd had conversations with would get. So it was part of building that connection. And Taylor Swift has something like that. Like, she's got those friendship bracelets, and if someone wants to tell me how that started, I don't know, but that's a thing, right? And there was a story I heard just recently when she was in Sydney, is that apparently someone at an event gave her friendship bracelet, and she, like a fan, and she was so nice and so attentive. And this is a TikTok. So see how the word spreads. I know about this because I was hearing it from someone it didn't even happen to, someone who observed how nice she was. And now I'm telling you. So the fan came up to her and she was very gracious and very friendly and took the friendship bracelet. And then she went and asked a minder or someone and got a friendship bracelet and gave that fan a friendship bracelet back. Can you imagine? Like, the power of that is part of community building and just taking that extra effort. And I remember seeing her also say things like that she would keep greeting cards in her handbag or wherever, and she said, because someone's always got a birthday. So if someone says it's my birthday, she can write a card and give it to them. And imagine the impact of that. I got a card from Taylor Swift. I told my mum that. I thought, how clever that was. And she reminded me that I used to do that, and I'd forgotten. I used to do that back in the days of being at Railway Cafe. I'd forgotten that I did that. But yeah, so I guess, what can you do to I'll go back to some other tips that Gary Vee said. So he said to go into groups, go into anywhere that's in your arena and build relationships and talk to people and then get back to people. And people think he's mad for going one-on-one and still replying to actual individual people. but he knows the impact and the excitement that that has from getting individual attention and being seen and being cared for. So he would do that through forums, through replying to people's comments on his own content, and, you know, using other people's groups when he wasn't big enough to have a group. But all of those things of going the extra mile, making the extra gesture, saying something that lets people know that they've been seen. I reckon even in the concerts that Taylor Swift started doing now, the people feel seen, like, when that's part of showmanship as well. But, you know, they've got that song where they go, never, never get back together. And one of her dancers always says something that relates to the particular city that she's in. And they've gone, I don't know what the original song says. Sorry, I'm not a Swiftie, but they'll change it up for wherever they are. So they've done things like, we're ever getting back together? And the guy goes, yeah, nah. Or tell them they're dreaming, or something that's really local and that's showing that they've taken the time. They've listened to people's suggestions that come through on social media. They've, you know, done their research and they've listened, and then they let you know that they've listened. So all that to say, how can you let people know that you hear them? How can you connect on a deeper level? How can you remember to get back to people and appreciate and show love? Yeah, so just think about how you can do more of that, and the value of allocating some time to, giving people some love individually. And as sort of, the other thing before I sign off is the chalkboard method. I was just thinking the other thing that Swifties is that she leaves clues for them, doesn't she? She leaves clues. I'm not a Swiftie, but doesn't she leave clues and little stories that she can take Swifties on a journey of something's coming, and then they all chat to each other and figure out what she's trying to tell them and all that. That's community as well, isn't it? Anyway, that's it. I think I'll wrap a bow on that, but I'd love you to think about what you could do for yourself and how you could let people know that you see them and how they can be part of the in-group with you. And, it's one of the most valuable things. If you get people who are die-hard followers because they feel seen and by you, then, you know, you're set. All right, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought. Let's share it. If you found something useful, please share and give me a tag and rate and review and all those wonderful things. It would mean so much to you. And if you let me know, I will thank you individually. Let me know what you want me to talk about next, and I'll see you then on the next one. Bye. I'm stepping in the next level me. I'm here to be everything I can be. Like a snake, I'm shedding my skin to be my wild next level me. I'm stepping in the next level me. I'm here to be everything I can be. Give you whiplash when you turn around and see me go again. Next level me. It's time to be. Hello, it's Livy here. Have you ever wondered about what the key elements are that make a podcast truly stand out? Or maybe you're thinking about starting your own special podcast and feel a bit overwhelmed and don't know where to start? Well, I have something for you. Introducing the Ultimate Podcast Checklist. Da, 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 da. It's a step-by-step guide that covers everything from the initial brainstorming to advanced growth strategies. It's the perfect companion for both new and seasoned podcasters. And the best part, it's absolutely free. Da, 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 da. To grab your copy, simply head to the show notes of this episode and you will find a direct link there, and then away you go. Remember, every podcast started with that initial spark and the right resource, so let the Ultimate Podcasting Checklist be yours.